What's the difference between Jivatma and Paramatma? Jivatma is Khandit, incomplete, and Paramatma is Akhand, complete. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm reading book Devlok with Devdutt Patnayak. So, I was reading part 6, Aatma. So, let's continue. There are two distinct words, Par Atma and Paramatma. Par Atma is others. If I don't respect you, it shows that I have become so arrogant that I don't acknowledge your Atma. Think that you have no Atma. If I acknowledge that all living beings have the same soul inside different bodies, I am conscious of the Par Atma. When we bring together the entire world's Atma so that it is infinite, that is Paramatma, that is Akhandit, unbroken, without boundaries. Jivatma has boundaries, is caught up in karma. Paramatma is not. Krishna is Paramatma and his Gopikas are Jivatma who are seeking completion. A Bhakt seeks God, a Khandit Atma seeks a Khandit Atma. In the Adhyatma Ramayana, Ram is Atma, Sita is Man or Jivatma, and Ravan, who steals her away, is Ahankar, and Hanuman is Bhakti, who unites Jivatma and Paramatma. These are different stories to bring these concepts to the people. How do you know whether someone has knowledge of Atma? He will not disrespect anyone. He will not compare others. He will refrain from judging. Once, when Adi Shankaracharya expounded on Atma, people praised him for the wonderful lecture. When he was leaving, a Chandal, a person who works in a crematorium, approached him. Shankaracharya's disciple asked him to move out of the way, as many people would do even today, for they considered him impure and dirty because he dealt with dead bodies. So the Chandal asked them, should I move my body or my Atma? Even the Shankaracharya learnt from his. As long as you are comparing and judging, you do not have knowledge of Atma. Relationships of boss, subordinate, etc. are in the everybody, material world. In the spiritual world, whatever differences there may be, all of us have Atma. When you don't have the knowledge, feudalism arises, where people are labeled superior or inferior. If you seek meaning or purpose by comparing, and your material wealth goes to your head, like when young men say, don't you know who my father is? You do not have knowledge of Atma. Adi Shankaracharya said that Jivatma and Paramatma are one and the same. This is the concept of Advait. The Madhvacharya school believed that the two are separate, that Jivatma is the Bhakt or devotee and Paramatma is God, thus the Vet. Yet another school is about Bhed Abhed, separate whole, which is Vishishtadvait. It says a tree is Paramatma and fruit is Jivatma. These are different ways of explaining these concepts. Does the concept of rebirth in Hinduism mean we have another chance or that our Atma is trapped? We can speculate on this and discuss it endlessly. But broadly, the idea is that how will the Atma know about itself when it does not have a heart or sense organs? The Atma knows everything, but how will it know itself? For that, it needs a body. Like we wear clothes, the Atma wears a body to experience the world, which in turn gives it self-knowledge. Experience of the world is the knowledge of the hunger that drives a being to food, that instills in her the fear of death that makes her the bird that looks for the fruit. While running after the fruit, the bhog, she forgets her primary goal. Why am I eating? To stay alive. Why should I stay alive? To experience the world. Why do I want to experience the world? To learn about the Atma, which is the primary purpose. In Kashmir, Shaivism, gold is used as a symbol to explain this. We are ornaments made from gold. In one birth, you are a bangle, in another, earrings, in a third, a necklace. But in all three forms, births, you are gold, which has been broken and molded into the new shape. The bangle forgets that it's gold and gets excited by its bangleness. So, this rebirth continues until you recognize the gold. We tend to get stuck in earth and calm so much that we forget about moksha. Would it be right to say that moksha is attained when there is knowledge of Atma? Absolutely. The shamans said that only when you quiet worldly matters will you acquire knowledge of Atma. But in the Ramayana and Mahabharata, they say that you can get it even while doing your daily activities. Ram is happy as a prince in the palace. He is also happy in the jungle. He does not derive his meaning from the palace. He gets it from himself. Sita is happy when she is with Ram. She is happy away from him too because Ram is in her heart. This means they both have Atmagyan. Krishna too has Atmagyan. He knows that everything is transitory and therefore has no attachment to anybody or anything. He leaves Radha, Dwarka, grows and collapses before him, yet he remains calm. Is this concept of Ahem different from Atma? That only when you don't have Ahem will you get Atmagyan? Atma and Ahem, ego, are in a spectrum. A sheet of paper when crumbled is Ahankar. As your Atmagyan increases, the creases in the paper are ironed out, which means Ahem is moving towards Atma. In a term of yoga, Chitta Vritti, Nirodh Vritti is the crumple, the knot of the mind that has to be eased out. If your Atma is knotted up like a string, the knot can be opened up only through Gyan. What's the difference between moksha and nirvan? Nirvan is a word in Buddhism and moksha is Hinduism. Buddhism does not have the concept of Atma, so nirvan is a release from your identity. Moksha is the release of Atma from the material world to obtain knowledge like the bird observing from the tree. Christianity has the concept of soul. Are Atma and soul one and the same? Interesting question, because in English, Atma is often referred to as the soul. Christianity believes in one life, one soul. Here the soul is corrupted by the devil. Your soul is polluted because you did not obey God's word as given in the book of Genesis in the Bible. But there is hope, salvation in the form of a Messiah who will save you, redeem your fallen soul. This concept does not exist in Hinduism. Here, there is rebirth. There is no fallen soul. The soul is always pure and perfect, but covering it is a body that is tied to karma. These are two separate thought processes. So, this is it for today. I'll be back. Till then, keep listening beautiful stories and keep smiling.